One of the things that you'll often hear women say when it comes to false allegations is that they aren't that common, which is a complete and utter fallacy, something I've covered in detail in a prior video, which I'll link below. The fact of the matter is, false allegations are something that happens to men millions of times every year. They happen in the workplace, they happen in family and divorce courts, they happen on social media, and yes, they happen in police stations across the world. And another sad fact is that most of them aren't counted in the stats because, well, if they were, it would show just how big the issue is. It would show how rampant and weaponized the allegations have become. And on top of all that, there's another little lie that women love to tell. The one that goes something like this. Or this. Hi, my name is Dan, and you're watching Men Need to Be Heard, the channel dedicated to raising awareness on the issues that men and boys face in today's society. And one of the biggest issues, dare I say perhaps the biggest one men are facing right now, is the rampant proliferation of false allegations being made by women against men. As I mentioned, they occur across society to men of every race, every creed, every age, every religion. No man is exempt, and it's largely because women have become so emboldened to make them as a means of fighting the patriarchy. And they justify their doing so by telling themselves, as I just showed you, that it really doesn't hurt the accused men at all. Frankly, I've seen so many people stand by that lie as gospel that I've long lost count. And the fact is, the overwhelming majority of women today believe it to their core. They'll quickly say, but, it's only 2% of allegations that are false, which is a number not based on fact, but conjecture and supposition. Conjecture and supposition that was done in the early 1970s, and which has long been disproven. Yet they stick to it like glue. Why? Well, again, mostly because it helps them to avoid taking accountability and responsibility for their actions. Not just other women's actions, but theirs as well. Especially because at this point, pretty much every woman on this planet has falsely accused a man or men of something at one time or another. But when they take it to the next level, when they start accusing a man of committing harassment, sexual assault, or rape against them, as more and more women are doing every single day, well, that's when it becomes really devastating. The fact is, any man who is falsely accused in that manner has no chance of ever escaping that allegation. None. Even when those men have been proven beyond any doubt whatsoever to be innocent. Even when the women themselves who have made the accusation later admit they lied and made the entire thing up, like say Crystal Magnum of the Duke lacrosse scandal recently did, even then the accused men continue to suffer the consequences of that allegation all day, every day, and they will for the rest of their lives. It is a lifetime of trauma and horror, a de facto prison sentence that those men can never escape. And as those videos that I showed earlier, not to mention hundreds of others more I could have put up, women don't have the slightest bit of caring or concern about the problem. In fact, they think it's funny, entertaining, something that should be encouraged, all because, it doesn't hurt the men. Well, let's talk about that, shall we? Let's talk about how it really doesn't hurt the accused man at all. And we're going to do so by highlighting a recent case in the news, one you're probably aware of, to show just how truly devastating false allegations are for men, even when the truth comes out. And that case that I'm talking about is Trevor Bauer. For those who don't know, Trevor Bauer is, or should I say, was a Cy Young award-winning Major League Baseball pitcher. One of the best arms in the game and could be even now, except, well, he can't be. Why? Because in 2021, his entire world was turned upside down when a woman accused him of a very serious sexual assault. And the minute she did, the media blanketed the papers and airwaves, condemning Mr. Bauer before the ink on the initial investigation paperwork was even dry. Social media immediately labeled him a monster. Thousands upon thousands of videos and comments were posted proclaiming it wasn't just him, but all men who were guilty. But it didn't stop there. Before the investigation was completed, in fact, before it was even begun, Major League Baseball suspended Mr. Bauer for a record 324 games, the longest suspension for alleged misconduct in league history. Sponsors dropped him. Teams blackballed him. Overnight, he went from superstar to super pariah. Not based on a conviction, not based on any investigation that had been done or evidence compiled, but simply based on the word of a woman. A woman who, as it turns out, not only was lying, but set the whole thing up as an extortion scheme. This isn't conjecture. The evidence is clear and unequivocal. Mr. Bauer was ultimately found to be completely innocent. This wasn't just a lack of evidence innocence. Oh no, my friends. This was proven beyond any doubt whatsoever innocence. It took a while, but the accuser's own messages came out, showing she had planned to set him up for a payday, which ultimately led to the courts throwing out her restraining order, one she was given, again, simply based on her word. And the DA declined to press any charges against Mr. Bauer. The fact is, every ounce of evidence backed Trevor Bauer, backed his innocence. And yet, it didn't matter. In fact, it still doesn't matter. Because despite being cleared, Trevor Bauer has lost tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts and endorsements, and continues to do so even now. He's still blackballed. His Major League Baseball career probably gone for good. His attempts to profess his innocence not only are falling on deaf ears, but he's being execrated for even trying, for even talking about it. And lest we forget, he's been completely cleared. Yet, no one will sign him to a contract, even though it's been proven the woman was lying and trying to set him up all along. Still, no team will touch him. Not because he did anything wrong, but simply because a woman said he did. A woman who's a proven liar. Let that sink in for a moment and realize that this isn't an exception. It's exactly what happens to falsely accused men every single day. No justice, no presumption of innocence, but instead a presumption of guilt. A presumption which will loom over them and exist for the rest of their lives, as is proven by Mr. Bauer. He is still thought of as being guilty, even though, as I said, the clear and convincing evidence says otherwise. Now, you might say Bauer is an extreme example, and in a manner of speaking, you'd be right. You'd be right in one way, because unlike most men, he at least had the means and money to defend himself, something most accused men can only dream of. The fact is, most men don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank to be able to cover the legal fees for their defense. At best, they have to beg, borrow, and try to get mortgages on their house in order to be able to raise enough funds to even hire an attorney, let alone pay for the almost inevitable protracted legal battle. And these men are trying to raise that money with a cloud over their head, that presumption of guilt that looms around them 24/7. Which is why, even though they try, rarely can they raise any funds. Think about it. What bank's going to lend money to someone that is facing charges that could land him in prison for decades? So yeah, the exception in this case is that at least Mr. Bauer had that money to hire representation and ensure that his rights were protected, ensure that an actual full investigation was done. Not to mention the additional money to later go after his accuser after her lies were exposed so he could try and hold her accountable. Just last month, he was awarded $300,000 in damages from his accuser. $300,000. Sure, that sounds like a big number, but let's put it in perspective. It's mere pennies compared to the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars he's lost, and will continue to lose. But hey, I guess we have to say, at least it's something. It's some form of justice, however pathetic it is, which is again something 99% of those who are falsely accused will ever get. We also have to be honest. It's probably money he'll never see a dime of. The damage is done. Mr. Bauer's reputation is utterly and completely destroyed. He will be forever linked to the accusation, and many won't ever even know that he was ultimately found to be completely innocent because, well, the media hasn't exactly been so willing to put his exoneration on the front page of the paper or in the A block of the news, which is exactly, again, what happens to every falsely accused man out there. While the perp walks, mugshots, and requisite victim crying pictures are splashed everywhere, the fact he was found innocent at best will get a tiny paragraph buried somewhere on page 9 that few, if any, will ever see. This is a hard lesson for all men that they need to take to heart. To see how based solely on the word of a woman, any woman, their life can be not just turned upside down, but completely and utterly destroyed forever. No hope, no future, no coming back. They're done, finished, and will be until the day they die. That is the reality that men who face false allegations have to deal with, and no one bats an eye at it. No one. If anything, they condone the practice and try to protect those who are guilty of it. And why do they do that? Mostly because they claim they want to protect women. They want to ensure that women feel safe and can come forward. And let's be clear here. When they say that, they don't just mean the women who are actually accosted, the true victims, but the women who've made it all up, mostly to get revenge or a payday. In the end, their actions not only protect those women, they encourage other women, indeed all women, to keep making false allegations, hiding behind the mantra that it's okay because false allegations don't really ruin lives. It's no big deal if a man is falsely accused. He'll bounce back. Yeah, right. Trevor Bauer is living proof that it's all a goddamn lie. The emotional toll, the mental toll, the physical one, those are forever. Those men are broken with little, if any, hope of recovery. There is no assistance anywhere for them. And the damage done to their reputation, you can't put a dollar amount on that. Imagine being publicly branded a rapist for something you didn't do. Then having the evidence show that you were the victim of a setup. And yet still, people call you the perpetrator. People still label you the monster, while giving a total pass to the woman who did it all, the true monster who made it all up. Even now, you'll find articles, tweets, and talking heads referring to Mr. Bauer as an alleged abuser or controversial figure. Even now, there are women out there saying, well, he must be guilty. I don't care what the evidence says because no woman would ever make a claim like that if it wasn't true. And they continue to say this even when they see the overwhelming proof that he's anything but guilty. That accusation sticks. The truth never gets the same traction that the lie did. And here's the real danger. Because when women see that you can accuse a man, when they can get sympathy, attention, and validation, when they can get headlines, ruin his life, and ultimately face no repercussions, no criminal charges, they can just simply walk away with at most a slap on the wrist, it only encourages more false allegations. Which is exactly why they are so rampant now and continuing to grow. Which is also exactly why no man is safe, ever, when he interacts or even is around a woman. And let's take a moment to talk about the other victims, the women who were actually attacked. No one wants to speak for them. No one wants to acknowledge the damage that those false allegations that are being made do to them. Well, I will. Ask yourself, Do you truly believe those women who were actually assaulted will ever see true justice? Will they have their cases be taken seriously? The answer, unfortunately, is no, most likely not. Why? Because investigators are being overwhelmed dealing with the many false allegations they receive every single day. Again, I've spoken to many police investigators, and to a man and woman, they state the overwhelming majority of the time there is no proof, nothing whatsoever to substantiate the woman's claims. And often, there's a lot of evidence to contradict them. There is nothing more to go on than her word, and well, because it's a believe all women no matter what the cost society, well, they end up spending time and money chasing ghosts when they could be focusing on those who really need to be helped, those who deserve true justice. The fact is, when lies like this get exposed time and time again, as has been a regular occurrence, it makes people skeptical when real survivors come forward, and rightfully so. While those who support false allegations run around justifying them and screaming that catchphrase designed to support all women who do make false allegations, hashtag believe all women, it takes away from our ability to believe any woman, especially the true victims, when so many of these other women are committing this atrocious act. It erodes public trust. It takes away time, money, and effort from handling the investigations of those who are true victims. In the end, these false accusers aren't just hurting men, they're hurting women too, hurting them every bit as much as the person who attacked them. But you see, no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to acknowledge that's going on. No one cares enough to even admit it. Trevor Bauer's case is a tragic, undeniable example that even when a man is cleared, the damage is permanent. His career's gone, his name's tarnished, his reputation destroyed, and $300,000 is a joke compared to what he lost financially. Honestly, though, he got off lucky, because many men faced with these allegations, after having their family, friends, everyone they know turn their back on them, after realizing they don't have the money to defend themselves, turn to the unthinkable. They kill themselves rather than continue to face the pain. Face the reality that a woman has chosen to lie and destroy him simply because she can. So when you see these women running around saying, it's no big deal, hold them accountable. Tell them, no more are we going to tolerate their lies, tolerate their misrepresentations. It's time we stop pretending false allegations don't have consequences, real consequences for the accused. And it's long past time that we stop protecting those who make false allegations. It's time we hold them accountable in the very same way we would if the roles were reversed. Not by making them pay $300,000 or, as is the case most of the time, at most facing a small fine, but by having them face real jail time. Not just days, weeks, or months, not even years, but decades. Decades behind bars, just like the men they've accused would have faced. Because this, as it exists now, isn't justice. And yet it's happening to regular men every damn day. Enough is enough already. We all need to stand up and speak out. We all need to hold not just those who make the false allegations accountable, but the police departments, DAs, and judges who refuse to do anything about it as well. We need to hold the politicians accountable until they change the laws so women who do this are charged, not with misdemeanors, but felonies. Felonies with serious jail time attached. Because until we do, we cannot say we live in a free country. We cannot say we support justice or equality. We cannot support a system that allows this to go on and does nothing about it, which has been the case for years now. If you're sick of seeing this happen, you need to speak up. Because until we do, until we talk about it and bring this injustice out of the darkness and into the light, nothing is going to change. Take steps. Start speaking out. Hold these women who make false allegations accountable. It's time that we do something, anything, to stop this horrible, horrible thing. All right, That's my thoughts on it. I want to hear yours. Drop a comment, share this video, and let's get the narrative out there. Let's let them stop silencing the truth, because men need to be heard.